Back here on Scottie Sports Talk, and Mike Smith now joined by Chad Clevenger, Highland Community College track and field head coach. Chad, obviously a little bit of odd times. You would normally be in the outdoor track and field season right now, and we'll talk about the new outdoor track that we have here on campus. But how are you coping with not having track in your life right now?
It's a little different. It's not good to see them every day and not get to. I think their energy is what's really throwing me off a little bit. You know, you get to go to practice every day, no matter how stressed you could be. You get to practice, and you're excited about being part of that their lives and being part of that energy. And we don't get to feed off that energy, so trying to find other ways to do that by either communicating with them or trying to chat with them a little bit when you have the opportunities. But yeah, it's been a strange last month, and we'll talk about it a little bit more. But then all of a sudden the track comes in, and we can't use it.
Yeah.
So just a lot of weird things like that are happening right now. But I think the future is bright, and we got a lot of good things to look forward to.
Yeah, you, unlike some other spring sports, were able to obviously have the indoor season, so you did get a little bit of track in. Was a highly successful indoor season at that, with a lot of different things going on with the program. But 8 All-Americans by the Track and Field Coaches Association standards. I know the women finished in the top 15 as a team. A lot of successful individual performances, like third in the high jump for Jessica Monroe, improving upon her freshman season there. Cedrica Wynn finished the year with 2 school records in the 2 events that she competed in, 60-meter and 60-meter hurdles. Octavia Wright got on the podium in the 600. Also, Deontay Alston in the long jump and the 4x4 men's relay too, placing 8th. But what's your thoughts on how the indoor season went? I know it featured a lot of spectacular individual performances, team group performances, and a lot of school records too.
Yeah, it's one of those seasons. I've told the kids before. Eventually, I'm going to write about this season. This is a pretty special season when it comes to a lot of things, and I think one of the biggest lessons that we try to teach this season was allowing them, or try to teach them to believe in themselves. And sometimes they can rely on the coach and that kind of stuff, but try to teach them to rely on themselves and trust themselves and the training that they're getting, trust what they're doing, trust how the effort they're putting in. And I think when we started putting that trust in each other, them trusting me and them trusting themselves, I think they had some big things happen. And when you start trusting yourself and go, you know what, I'm going to only get better if I put the work in that I need to put the work in. And if I want to put 100% in, I have to be able to make that choice. And giving them that opportunity to go, you get to choose how much energy you want to put in, and then they're putting 100%. And then when they're putting in 100%, now they're helping each other. So we're at meets and we've got the trying to think what event we had going. I think we were getting ready for the hurdles for Cedrica. And so, I'm down by the hurdles, and there's DeAndre Holmes working with Deontay Alston in the long jump as, things are going on. And I think it really made it a very special season that we learned to trust ourselves and we learned to trust each other. And I think that's where a lot of the big things happen, is because they invested in themselves.
Nice, yeah, a lot of good camaraderie with the kids, and you had a lot of kids that obviously had some experience underneath your belt as a coach for you last year as the sophomores I talk about. Obviously, it's we didn't get a little recognition for a lot of these sophomores, and did a lot of great things the sophomores did. What did this group of sophomores mean to you?
A really good group of workers. Watching them from the day they walked in to the last day. And I think a really good example is I think I used like KU relays this last year to this year, comparing and what they did last year. And I think Cedrica is a really good example from KU to KU. Was she went 925 last year, and she goes, I believe it was like 880 or something like that this year, and wins it. She didn't make. I don't even know if she made the final last year, but she goes out and wins it this year. And just seeing that kind of growth, but a lot of it just had to go with the mental side of it, to where she was stepping on the line believing that she belonged. and I think that was a huge thing for her. With like DeAndre Holmes, it was I think when we had the conversation after Coach Harden left for Southern Arkansas, and I think he was panicking a little bit, and I said, "Okay, DeAndre, it's time for you to trust yourself. Coach put a big foundation for you, and now it's just your time to shine." And I think that confidence that he had, and he started trusting himself, I think led to some huge strides for him. I mean, we're talking 3 feet. I mean, just so those are just a couple of the people. But then you have Jessica, and I think when Coach left, Jessica was a little worried, and just said, "You know what, Jessica, we're going to figure this thing out. We're going to do this thing together." And we were able to develop some confidence in herself that led to some big things. So I think the sophomore group, I think they had a really good foundation of coaching the past year with Coach Martin and Coach Harden. But then watching them just grow this indoor season, I really think that these sophomores going to the next level are going to really be able to produce really well for their next teams, just because they're going in with a whole new confidence. They're going in with a lot of trust in themselves, and I think the sky's the limit for that group. And this group is pretty special.
Yeah, you talk about moving on to the next step, wherever it may be for some of them. I know that that's still to be determined for many of the sophomores, but there's several former Scotties that are performing quite well now, at their respective colleges. And I'll jump right into that. Coach Sean Campbell, obviously a national champion at Highland, went to Wayland Baptist NAIA level and performed well there at Nationals Indoor. I believe she got on the podium twice, I think it was, individually and with the relay. And then Ivana Uribe set lifetime records for herself in a lot of different ones. And I know there's several others that I'm not mentioning, but those two just jumped in my memory. And I know that I'm sure as a coach, you're probably proud to see those gals succeed, but all of the rest of your former athletes too.
Well, that's one thing we stress upon. And I was talking to Coach last night and say, you know what, our biggest goal is to take somebody here, and we want to try to help them to be successful here, but we want to get them in a position where they can be successful wherever they go from here. And whether that's being, if they want to go to a 4-year university after us, or they want to go in the working world, we're trying to set them up for success beyond here. And seeing them successful in the way that they're going is fantastic. And Coach Sean, we talked a lot throughout the season with some of her adjustments, and she's probably, if she's watching this, she's going to hate this. But start going through like, what things are you doing differently? And she's like, "Oh, it's country." We started talking about those. She sends me a message the other day. She goes, "Coach, I think I might be running cross country next year. I think that's going to be really." I think that was the game changer for me at Highland. And so we laugh about some of those things, but the main thing is we're trying to set them up to be successful, trust themselves, trust their coaches, and so they trusted themselves, they trusted what they're doing, and they're carrying that onto their next place. And their next place, it was like, you got a new coach, but you still have to put that same type of trust in that new person for you to be successful. And both of those are really good examples of trusting their coach to the next level, and they'll be able to get successful. And I know this is a few years ago, but even we had a guy come in here back in 13-14, and his goal was to get a 2-year degree from Highland. And so while he was at Highland, he ends up meeting a softball player, and they just recently got married, and they just bought a house, and he's super successful right now in terms of his job and his life and everything. And so he's Dalton Ricketts is his name, and so he married a softball player, Emily, and so they just bought a house like within the last month. And so it's just really cool to see even someone like him. They come in here, they leave here, and they're ready for that next stage of their life, no matter if it's competing or not. And so just seeing those success stories is really awesome.
Yeah, no doubt. In the short time that I've been a huge part of the college, I've enjoyed seeing all the athletes move on in success levels, like you said, no matter where it is, on the field, on the track, or in the workforce or anything like that. we mentioned it earlier, but hopefully something that will continue to lead to more success for the track and field program at Highland is the new facilities we have. The outdoor track coming along quite nicely. I know there's a few tweaks that probably still need to be made, but fresh paint makes a lot of things look really nice. And the fresh paint job that it got to lay down the first paint job of the new track looks really nice. And I'm sure that you're eagerly awaiting the opportunity to get your athletes out there on that new track.
Oh, super excited. Very excited to see that get done. Did my victory lap on it a couple days ago. So it was just almost like a dream, you know. I think it was, you know, my wife was delivering lunches to the local community the other day, and she's like, "There's people out on the track right now." And so she got done with that. We went out there and we saw 8 painted lanes, and went, "Oh my gosh, this has happened." So so that was really exciting to see that come up there, and I think that's just going to generate a lot of excitement. I think some of our freshmen that we have this past year, we're getting a little nervous. I mean, all our athletes are getting a little nervous, but our freshmen going, "Are we ever going to be able to run on this track?" And seeing that get done, I think it's injected a whole new enthusiasm with our program. I think with the whole athletic department, I think it's injected some excitement in a time where, you know, we're I'm sure there's a little bit of, you know, we're a little depressed in some aspects of not being able to get out of the house and things like that. That's a huge huge boost of energy that is just absolutely positive, that has us looking forward to the future.
Yeah, no doubt. We're looking forward to the future and what it has for Highland Track. And Coach, I'll let you out of here on this one. I was going to ask all my guests, you know, since we're doing the Scottie Sports Talk now, live from Casa de Mike Smith, but what is some things you're doing to pass the time to try to keep yourself sane? You know, I know that you've been busy with your daughter Chloe and basketball there to get the word out on her and her skills. And I know WrestleMania, we've been chatting a little bit about that too, to occupy some time. But what's some of the things that you've been doing over the past few weeks?
Well, you know, one thing that a lot of times coaching wise is, you know, we spend a lot of time on the road. We spend a lot of time recruiting. We spend a lot of time late hours and those kind of things. And so the first and foremost thing that's really happened is getting to spend a lot of family time. And so the last 2 nights we've watched WrestleMania. We've watched the build up to WrestleMania. You know, we enjoy those events. And so watching those has been one of the things that we've really enjoyed. And this year being 2 days of WrestleMania, that's 2 WrestleMania parties that we had. And when we have those events, we get mozzarella sticks, you know, and chicken fingers and cake and all these things. And so we got 2 days of that. So that was pretty fun. You know, we've been as a family, we've been binge watching the TV show Smallville. Dealing with Superman and the buildup of Superman, and so you know, we enjoy some of those type of shows, and so we've really been able to focus on our family and really enjoy some things, and so that's been really nice to be able to spend those times. And you know, my wife and I are just talking this morning, and it's like, you know, we hear about some people that are talking about, man, I'm going crazy of being in the house and stuff, and she's like, you know, we really enjoyed each other. We've really enjoyed this time that we've gotten to spend, and those kind of things. And so, so those are a few things that we've been able to do. And you know, Chloe and I, we joke with Gina every night. We're like, "What's tonight's party gonna be?" And so every evening just turns into a little party where we're watching something, we're enjoying our time, and so that's been a really big blessing that we've had through this whole thing.
Nice. Yeah, it's been a little crazy on my own on my end as well. But thought, you know, we'd check in with the Scottie Nation family. And Coach, thanks for taking the time to chat with me, and stay healthy for you and your family. And hopefully we'll check in pretty soon.
Absolutely. Same to you, Mike. And, you know, it's one of those things, we saw each other on campus the other day and went, oh my gosh, a person, we got to go talk, you know? So I think it's really allowing us to appreciate the relationships we have with people. And, you know, I appreciate seeing you on campus the other day. We kept our distance, you know, so we were safe distance, But doing this has been nice, and so I appreciate you doing this just so we can communicate and appreciate the relationships that we have in our lives.
Head coach Chad Clevenger right there of our Highland track and field team. Stay tuned. We'll have more Scottie Sports Talk when we return.